Hi, I'm Detective Unknown.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Backflip.
And I'm Inspector Home Run.
And we're the Teenage Super Sleuths, myth-busting some of today's greatest scientific hoaxes.
You were trying to help them understand an easy way to show a judge that the CO2 doesn't impact temperatures. And when you were doing this research, you found out that NASA erased the data that you had been using and you couldn't use it?
Yeah, so there's a NASA website where you could click on points and see the graphs over time.
Yeah.
But the first point we were going to use, the main point of it, the one that proved it, it was the most obvious point, disappeared.
And so
once again,
once again, what you do is you say you go to the NASA website. This is the GIST website. Okay, you said you were telling people to go and you wanted to look at the unadjusted data because that's just simply the raw data, and that's real scientists look at the raw data.
Yeah, you don't want to look at any fabricated or any adjusted stuff.
And so you're going back to 1902, and so you changed this to 1902. Oh, and you said you want to make sure you use the Chrome browser on this, right?
Yeah, because the Microsoft browser is a little bit glitchy.
Yeah, it gets a little quirky. You guys are high level computer guys. GIST. So you go to the GIST website, right? You change this to 1902, unadjusted data, and you hit update, right? And what you were doing was you had found the ideal weather station to disprove global warming.
Click on update.
And when you hit update, watch what happens. All those weather stations disappear. But what you're saying was the one that you were going to use in the lawsuit disappeared.
Yeah, it was called Alice Springs.
Alice Springs. And so what you're telling me is, fortunately, you guys were filming this type of a video to demonstrate it, to teach people, and suddenly it disappeared. But you still have video evidence of this, so you can prove NASA, no ifs, ands, or buts, is hiding data to the public.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is hard to believe. But you're telling me you got evidence, and so this is it. Right here is Alice Springs, and you can see 1902. See how it's version 3? Okay, when they went to version 4, they just casually erased that one.
This is July instead of August.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. It's 1902. And then, but you're saying this is what the graphic is. This is the smoking gun graphic that you can no longer produce. Is that right, Professor Backflip?
That is right.
If you haven't have this saved, you cannot access it.
You can't go. You're telling me I cannot go to NASA and reproduce this. What you're saying, why this is so damaging, is this shows 140 years of a station with a 0 BI, which is brightness index.
Yes.
And it's kind of like it shows you that this is unaffected by the urban heat island effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so 140 years, if you can find stations that are unaffected by the urban heat island effect, you can show that over the last 140 years, CO2 has had no impact on temperatures.
Yeah.
And why you're saying that is so dangerous is because what that proves is that Michael Mann's temperature chart is a measure of the urban heat island effect, not the impact of CO2 on temperatures. They got a Nobel Prize for that, and you're going to debunk a Nobel Prize winner?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're telling me we have a way for basically students in science classes to pretty much prove their teachers are wrong, because this is what you call this is undercover type science, right? You're telling me this is stuff that you do without anybody knowing about it, because you do this in the classroom without your teacher knowing about it, because if the teacher knows this kind of information, she might give you an F, is what you were telling me, right?
Yeah, you'll get kicked out.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go debunk this chart made by Professor Mann, Michael Mann, at the Penn State University. And so you said what we have to do is go to the GIST data site, and you said GIST is the Goddard Institute of Space Studies, NASA?
Yeah.
We're going to go, you guys know how to use the NASA website and you're 12 years old?
Yes, it's very simple.
Wow. Okay, well, let's go take a look. And you say it's simple. It may be simple for someone like you, but you said go here, and this is the data.gist.nasa.gov, the GIST temp station data undercarriage V3. And what it does is it takes you to the data set where they have all of the weather stations around the globe. That's pretty fascinating that someone your age even knows how to do that.
Yeah, you can see all the temperature sets.
And you said that you want to use, you said Chrome when you use this, right? Because these tables don't work right?
Yes.
And so what you said is you want to change this to 1902, right? Yep. And you said you want to use the
adjusted data.
Unadjusted
we
data.
We don't want any sketchy stuff going on here.
Okay, we're going to use unadjusted data.
Authentic stuff.
Okay, and now we're going to update this. Right? And what that's going to do is it's going to bring and reveal all the stations that existed back in 1902, so we can see, is Dr. Mann's last 100 years consistent with what a thermometer would tell you. Now, you tell me it's not that quite easy, because you were telling me something about a BI measurement?
Yes. So the BI is the input of the urban heat island effect.
Okay, and so when you're telling me that what you were going to look for is a station that has a BI of 10 or less, right?
Yes, we don't want the urban heat island effect to have too much of an impact.
Okay, now the urban heat island effect is like someone there might be a weather station there, and they might build a road next to it, and all of a sudden the road gets real hot, but it has nothing to do with CO2. It has to do with the fact that you put a road next to a weather station. So what you're measuring there is the warming of the road, not CO2, right?
Yes.
So what we're looking for is a weather station that's in the middle of absolutely nowhere, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I'm looking at this chart, and look here. That looks like something in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of Australia. It's called Alice Springs, and you see how it has that BI of zero down here?
Yep.
So you're telling me this is an ideal one, right?
Yes, and also look at the bottom at the years. This goes from 1880 up to 2019.
Oh, so this is the perfect one, right?
So we get a fairly long range.
We get a cover that range that Dr. Mann said temperatures increased by 1.25 degrees.
Yes.
So if we click on this, and temperatures really did go up by 1.25 degrees, we should see a temperature chart that goes up 1.25 degrees, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because you were telling me that CO2 is the same level here in the middle of Australia as it is over here in England.
Yes,
as
CO2 doesn't differ throughout areas.
It's a constant is what you're telling me.
Yes.
And in science, a constant means that it really can't cause a variation. That's why they're called constants, right?
Yes.
And so what you're telling me is if I click on this thing, I should see a chart that increases by 1.75 if Dr. Mann is right.
If
your 12-year-old theory is correct, and I click on this, I should see a temperature chart that didn't change over the last 100 years?
Yes,
That's
what you should see.
That's really hard to believe, though. Are you telling me that temperatures haven't changed in the last 100 years after all I've been told?
I believe that this will prove that they have not
We're just
changed.
going to randomly select a weather station in the middle of nowhere that's been shielded from the heat island effect for 100 years, and you're telling me you're going to show me no warming.
Yes.
I find that hard to
Exactly.
believe. I find that unbelievably hard to believe. But you have the PhD, and you're the one that's telling Nobel Prize winner Michael Mann that he doesn't have a clue what he's doing.
Yep.
Okay, and so I'm going to click on that.
And also, there's no oceans nearby that would affect the temperature.
That's right. You want to make sure that's in the middle of nowhere. You didn't want it near the ocean because ocean currents can impact the temperatures as well.
Yes.
Well, let's just take a look at what this weather station looks like.
So if you're...
Whoa! Wait a minute. This is Alice Springs, and we go back to 1902, and this is the temperature range of 1902. It peaked out around 22 degrees, it looks like, and this is where the current level is. It's at 22 degrees exact. It's below where it was in 1902.
Yes.
Holy cow! Now, you were telling me something really fascinating about this stuff, is that the adjusted data that you found almost always lowers the distance.
So let's take a look at the adjusted data.
Let's see what happens when they look at that.
Huh.
This is the unadjusted, which is flat as a board, and then when they adjust it, it gives an upslope.